I guess everybody remembers the apples that we got dumpster diving the other day. Some of them are getting pretty badly bruised up, but I'll still trim them up. Today I'm going to be making applesauce with these. So these are sitting in a vinegar and water bath to get them really clean. And I'm going to let them sit and soak for a few minutes. And then start scrubbing them up and bring you back when I start my next processes. Right over here I've got my steam canner cleaned up, ready to go. My Victoria food strainer, washed it all up, letting it drain, and I'll be using it to make the applesauce. This isn't super sharp. I should have got a better one, but anyway, these apples are too soft to put through my apple peeler and corer, so I'm going to do them this way and leave the skins on, and the Victoria strainer will remove all the skins. I'm just going to have the little core left to throw away. It's from using that tool because it was hard for me to press through, to just using a knife. I'm just cutting the cores out, putting them over here in this pan of water. I put about a cup of vinegar in there to keep them from going brown, and I can switch them around in there once in a while. And I still have this many to go, so I'll bring you back when I get them all done. This is the recipe I'm following. It's from my Ball Complete Book of Canning and Preserving. This book, Complete Book of Home Preserving. Calls for 12 pounds of apples. I honestly don't know how many pounds of apples I have here. But anyway, it will make 8 pint jars or 4 quart jars, it says. And I've already got lemon juice in here. After I drained the vinegar water out, I put lemon juice in it. And now it's time to start cooking them down. So let me get it over on the stove and get started. I wanted to add that it also calls for 3 cups of sugar. I'm going to leave that out. See, it even says optional. I'm going to leave that out right now. And I want to wait and taste it after it goes through the strainer. That recipe is supposed to make 8 pints. Maybe all I'll get, but if there's more, I've got some smaller jars sitting here. And got them in my steam canner. I'm going to be using that today. It only takes 2.5 quarts of water in the bottom of it. Let me step back a little. Which is a huge water saver, and anything that's 45 minutes or less at your elevation can be canned in this if it's a high acid food. Jam, jelly, fruit, applesauce, things like that. So I love this thing. Not as much water, it's not very heavy, and I really love using it. Pickles, all kinds of things that can be canned in this steam canner instead of lugging out a big old water bath canner. So I'll bring you back in just a few minutes. Not ready yet, but there's a little bit of water. It called for a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan. A little bit of water in there, and I used the lemon juice, no sugar. And it really smells good in here because they've already started cooking. And it smells like apples, which always smells good. My Victoria set up. I've got a steel pan there. I didn't want anything. I don't have a glass pan big enough for this, and the only other pan I've got would be aluminum. So I didn't want that for fruit. I wanted just a steel pan. So I got my steel roasting pan out. What I didn't find when I was getting my parts together was that thing you push stuff down with. So I've got this silicone spatula. I'll use it. If I have to, I can always use that end of it to push the fruit down in there. It's cooked for about 20 minutes to get all the apples soft. Hello, steam. Lay this over here. So they're pretty soft in there. So I'm ready to turn it off. It says to let it cool for a few minutes before you put it through your strainer. So I'm going to do that, and when I bring you back, I will have this phone mounted on my tripod in a crazy way, and I'll show you me running it through the strainer, a little bit of it. Okay, I guess you can see everything. There's my pan of apples, a pan that I'm going to put it in when it's applesauce, and my Victoria strainer. I'm going to try to stay out of the view as much as I can, because there's nobody here helping me right now. So I'm going to start piling these fairly hot apples. They've cooled a little bit. Start piling these in here. You don't ever turn the handle on the Victoria until you've got food down in there, because it'll bind it up. Oh, I didn't get a pan over here or anything to catch the dry part. Hold on. I'm almost forgetting something. Hold on a minute. Okay. I've got it's a little square glass cake dish back here. Get that pushed down in there a little bit. It's already juice coming out. Then I'm going to start turning it. If I can get it to start. There it goes. Once you get something down in there, it'll turn a lot easier. I wish I would have found my little plunger that goes in here. Alright, it's starting to work through now. I've got my cinnamon out. After I taste this, I'm probably going to mix some cinnamon into it before I can it. Just a little bit. I don't want it heavy on the cinnamon. Just a little bit cinnamon. I don't know if you can see this up in here. Let me get this little spoon. Here's my applesauce. Looking pretty good. Okay, I'm not going to make you sit through this whole episode of grinding it up, so I'll bring you back. I'm almost done. That's all I've got left to grind out. There's my pan filling up. You can see my handle is full of applesauce now. But isn't that nice? This is a little extra work. They make an electric motor for these Victoria strainers, which would be real handy, except for I'm off grid. You have to run a generator for it. So anyway, you could also put them, no, it wouldn't work the same. I was going to say through another kind of food mill or a grinder, like a meat and veggie grinder, but they'd have to be peeled, because those would not take the peels off. Alright, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from grinding this stuff, straining it, and then I'll come back. See, I've got all the apples strained through the strainer. This is the peels that are left. A little bit still in that hopper, but these will all go out to the chickens. Let me give you a word of advice. If you use one of these Victoria strainers, as soon as you're done with it, take it apart and put it right into a sink of water. Because if you don't, you're going to find it's very difficult to clean up when anything dries onto it. Okay, I've got the applesauce in here. I tasted it was really tart. So I added 1 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, it looks like a lot of cinnamon in here, doesn't it? It's pretty dark, but I use this cinnamon that I get from the Mennonite store. It's this. It's very, very concentrated. It's not like the cinnamon you buy at the grocery store. It's pure cinnamon, I guess. Anyway, so turn the heat back on under it because I want to warm it up a little before I start putting it in the jars. I've got my steam canner over here. It's a little bit out of frame. I'll turn it when I get ready to put jars in there. I've got a wet paper towel. My lids and rings are up here. Don't need that. And my my canning foam. Right here I've got a ladle to get the applesauce out of the pan and into the jars. I'll be right back. Okay, I had my applesauce on low heat for just a few minutes. I just want to bring the temperature up a little bit. And my jars are in here getting warm. The water's already quite warm. So I'm going to go ahead and fill a jar and show you how to do that. As you can see, you don't have to pour any water out. There's only 2.5 quarts of water in that steam canner. I'm going to turn this fire off. So I don't want my applesauce to scorch. I'll fill it up to 1/2 inch headspace. Get some of the air bubbles out if I can. Just gently stir it with this stick. Check my headspace. Need just a little bit more. Okay, that's pretty good right there. 1/2 inch headspace. I think I'm going to get one jar out over here just for this to rest in, because it's a little messy. Now I'm going to wipe the rim. Put on a lid and a ring. Fingertip tight. I usually have a towel laying here, but I got so much fire here I don't want to, you know, set the towels on fire. Okay, I'm going to fill up as many jars as I can, and I'll bring you right back. Okay, I've got 8 pints of cinnamon applesauce in my canner. I'm fixing to put the lid on. I've still got a little left. Might be a 1/2 pint, or it might be another whole pint. Anyway, when these get done being processed, I will just put them over into 1/2 pint jars. Now, I'm going to put the top on the canner. I'm going to have this hole where I can view it, because I want the steam to come flowing out of here, and then I'm going to check the temperature up here for the Victoria canner. It gets started. These are going to process for 20 minutes. That's for pints or quarts, and these are pints, so it doesn't matter. I'm waiting for the steam to come out of that hole I was pointing at, and I'm waiting for this indicator arrow to get over here in the dark green. Steam coming out of this little hole. Almost to the dark green. Probably 5 more minutes, and I'll set my timer for 20 minutes. Time is up. They set in the canner about 5 minutes. You do that so it kind of equalizes the temperatures. And there they are. Let me get this over out of the way. You can see, even though I debubbled, the stuff is really thick, so there might be some bubbles, and that's okay. You just do the best you can. It's not gonna hurt it. So let me start taking these out. Let them cool down. In just a minute, I will reheat the applesauce that's left in this pan over here. See if I can get a couple of half pints out of it. Truthfully, we probably could have had it all in half pints if I'd had enough jars. I'm running low on half pint jars. I'm running low on space on this towel too. Get some stuff scooted around. Okay, there they are. Eight pints of applesauce for free, basically. Yeah. The little bit of lemon juice and cinnamon doesn't count for much. Or vinegar that I soaked them in to keep them from going brown. The apples were free. You can see a video about that. And even the sugar I only used 1 cup of sugar, but it was also free. Can you see it back here? So there you go. 8 pints of applesauce, probably a couple more half pints. Free apples, free sugar, basically free applesauce. I want to show you something else though, because the other day, I got mushrooms. And I don't think that I shared with you after I canned them, so hold on. I got enough mushrooms for free to get 4 pints and 3 half pints of canned mushrooms out of it. So no food was wasted, and they didn't cost me anything. Here's one of the half pints. So there you go. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think, and I'll link you to the post where I got this free food. I can't take the base of my strainer off. I can't get it loosened up. All the other parts are in the sink, except this guy. I have to wait till my son comes home later and see if he can loosen it up. I really must have put some power behind getting it tightened. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny after I said all these parts need to go in the water. Alright, there you go.